Hi, Warriors. Dale Pinkert here. I want to start off with the 10-year yield chart that we're finally getting a resolution to, on the verge of breaking down out of this distribution or rectangle. Um, Looks to me like we could break at least to the 130 level. So besides looking for yields to come down, and I think that we're not going to new lows, but we could pull back to 130, maybe 120. In fact, this measured move is about 30 bips. It would take you down to this moving average right around 120. So if this forecast is right and everything's about yields, what's going to benefit um, and what has been benefiting by yields uh, not going up anymore and beginning to decline? So if you're in our platform of TradeGate Hub and not just watching the live stream on YouTube, yesterday afternoon I put out a trading suggestion. Got long silver at 27.62. We're at 91 right here. So this was where I did it, right in here. Had a little bit of 12-cent drawdown, structured the trade so that the stop was under the moving average here at 27.15. So if you took the trade right now, you have about 28 cents. Take half off the table and pull your stop to break even. I do believe there's a shot to challenge these highs. And in fact, silver is doing much better than gold. It's up over 1% today, with gold up 0.24. But gold is doing nothing wrong. I just think we may have entered a time when there might be some silver outperformance as the gold silver ratio was turned back from this major resistance level at 68.50. And when you look at it on, well, let's look at it on a weekly, that we still could have one more drive down. You have one here, two here, and many weeks we've tried to close back over this previous low of 68.50, couldn't do it. So could be the path of least resistance is back down towards the 60 level, which implies silver being the outperformer over gold. Not saying gold can't go. In fact, I think gold has a shot before it's over to trade um, up towards its 1965 level. I don't think we're going to make a new high, but I could see 1965 as a possibility. Daily's looking pretty good. All we have to do is clear this 61.8 resistance at 1920. So, 1920, and you tack on from the low, that's 1770 bucks, could give you 1990, 1985, which I think I had a fib up there. 1989 is 78.6 back from the Sol Advance. So I'm not looking for new highs, but failing rally here. And I do think that silver will challenge the highs at 30. A lot of people saying if we get above this level, we're going to 38. I've even heard higher targets, but I think there is a possibility that we challenge 30 bucks. So hold on to a piece, but protect. So you probe and you protect. And the probe was at 62. Partial profits were there for, you know, 25, 30 cents. And now the worst case scenario is you get stopped out BE on the second half and you made money. So you removed all the risk out of the trade. So let's get to the currencies. Dollar continuing to weaken, which is a scenario you guys know I want to just get this over with and have the dollar wash out and have the S&Ps make new highs, head up towards 4,300. Pretty negative day in the dollar. Um, Euro is actually outperforming Aussie. Aussie's up 21 right now. So, we could still get a pullback. And I'm not going to do anything in the euro right in front of the ECB, just in case they do disappoint. And you see what we're looking at right here is that, there still could be a possibility for some kind of pullback, but this is looking like we're turning pretty good here, and we should challenge these highs at 22 and a half. In fact, I think that we're going to take out these highs all the way back here. I had a pretty aggressive target if the dollar really gets into a free fall, then you're talking about 127 up here. I think all we need to do is really just clear this out, this high, and we'll see what's happening RSI wise. The Euro Aussie, I was rejected from the 50% level right here. In fact, right here, and there's also a moving average here. Again, if the euro pops on this into the ECB and euro Aussie gets to the 61.8 level, I will consider shorting it there. Just something to keep your eye on. And I've been looking at the yen, and if gold's going to have a big move, normally it happens with yields dropping, and this is why I could not get long US dollar yen because of the correlation of yields and US dollar yen. So we should have some more downside in the yen as long as yields can continue to drop. Canada tried and got rejected again. Here's your throw over. Got to it yesterday. Glad I didn't try and buy it. And another reason I didn't buy it, I think we have the BLC in 24 minutes. So we start getting back above 121, there are plenty of shorts to squeeze, but not my style to play roulette with central banks. And it's a binary bet, it has nothing to do with charts. I may do something after the Bank of Canada. Remember, the last meeting, they did begin to talk about tapering, and Canada exploded, USD CAD sunk. So the only thing that might reverse it would be them coming off more dovish and hawkish. So we should have a result of that in the next 23 minutes. To me, that's a stand aside. We've already covered the Dixie, and we're on the verge of this finally getting ready to take out the January low. Do believe that there'll be some divergences on multiple time frames. I think for sure on the daily. I don't think even if we trade 88 and a half that we're going to close back under 30. So I'm looking for about 88.60 for a possible turning point in a lot of different things, including the dollar, including S&P. So let's get to the S&Ps now. They still have not made new highs. All right, they're getting closer. They're only about 8 handles away from this high up here. And I really thought we'd see more acceleration with the dollar going down into this time frame. But you know what? It's still on track. What I said was, my narrative from Monday was that by the end of June, uh, both the dollar could be bottoming and S&Ps could be topping. And I still had the 4,300 handle in mind. Um, NASDAQ is approaching highs too. And remember, I'm looking for a third drive up here. I think we could go to 14.3, 14.4. So what's that? Another 3%, 3.5%, and another 3%. And the S&Ps would take it over the 4,300 level. One of my keys is going to be what happens here in VIX. And VIX keeps putting in these, I guess they're kind of like ghost ticks. I remember at the bottom of silver, you started getting these. Silver would open lower for a millisecond and then be back. So here's one of them here. Here's one of them here. And look at this. We have, successive ones here, successive here. So VIX is actually unchanged with the S&Ps up 5. I still think that, in fact, we did make a new low here. Couple, I think this was Monday or Tuesday. This was a new low at 15.15. We took this out, and this wedge line is coming in a shade under 14. So we'll see where we're at towards the solstice, which is about 2 weeks away now, right? Yeah, 2 weeks away. So that's something that Gann paid attention to. He paid attention to the changing of seasons could also lead to a change of market direction. So that's on my radar, and possibly some call positions to add to this as we approach the 14 level. Again, if we don't get down there, and you could see by the blue line what a significant pivot it is right here at the 19 level. So if we don't make a new break, you're not late buying a breakout over 19. Okay. Took a shot in oil. I have a little bit of a drawdown, about 27 pips here. Um, to me, it looks like oil. Maybe it has a shot for 71, but we're not confirming anymore on this time frame. Here's your last confirmed high. It's goes back to the 1st of June, so over a week ago. Same type of picture in the 4 hour, even more glaring, and maybe we'll get a little reversal day here. And remember, just like silver, if you get partial profits, don't forget to take it. One area might be right around here, 69.60, might be a decent area to take partial profits. Looks like it's trying to roll over. If you're looking for a little bit more, maybe right around this 69.30 level. But I am expecting some type of pullback, maybe even the beginning of a huge correction. But I've been wrong on crude before, looking for a high. Doesn't mean I'm going to blame the crude market because I was wrong. And if I see, professionals don't back off of a trade just because they were wrong a few weeks ago about something, if the market's setting up from better levels, you don't ignore it. You go for it. You don't blame the instrument. You don't blame the asset class like commodities, or I'm not trading currencies anymore, or I've had it with the metals because I've taken some losses in those. It's not the fault of the instrument, it's the musician playing the instrument. Everyone with me? Give me a why if you understand it's not the instrument, it's the musician. I like that one. I just made it up just now. You guys like that? It's not the instrument, it's a musician. Okay, so again, with yields falling, TLT having another great day. Now, I don't believe this is a big bottom in the bonds. This still could be a wave four that's going to be resolved to the downside, just like 10-year yields can pull back to this 130 level, and then we could have another big wave like this. I think that um, wave three is going to be the one that really puts a kibosh on a lot of risk on markets. I think this gives risk on buys it another few weeks, especially if we accelerate to the downside, which means you could be long the world. And then once we get down here and start turning up again and yields start another wave. This was a pretty good wave when you look at it. We went from 50 bips down here. This was the COVID crash to 178, right? So that was call it 130 bips. So if we pull back into this region for a two, you know, and we get some type of fib extension, like a equality is going to give you 2.8. If we have something like this from, say 120, that's going to give you, this was 130, that's going to give you 2.5. Okay, which was a big level, 2.5. And I think many markets will suffer from this. I think the dollar will rally big with this. Not a huge bull market in the dollar, but perhaps a recovery after we make new lows to the 95 level. I think equities will take it on the chin the hardest, but will also impact precious metals and other risk assets, maybe even Bitcoin, which is something I want to talk about because I did post this in the room. So if you're watching us on YouTube, you need to register to see all the good posts. So here we are. So I posted yesterday um, the WD Gann expression of if you don't learn how to change your mind, you won't have any change left. So here's Bitcoin. So I was talking about this breakdown, which we got, and then I wrote yesterday if we negate this breakdown, and I know some people have different lines, and it really never broke down or broke down at another time, and it's back up against it. But all the way down in Bitcoin, there hasn't really been a technical buy signal. Now, false breakouts, false breakdowns, and false breakouts are at least a reason not to be short anymore, and potentially a reason now that it's back inside of this formation that we could be turning the corner for a pretty good rally in Bitcoin. So we'll see if that occurs. I'd be nervous being short, especially if I shorted this breakdown and we're above the breakdown price. So I think you really have to be careful. Back over 36, we'll get a run to 42. And 42, of course, is a huge level for the market to get back above. It failed from here on a few different attempts. There's 41,000 or so, and have some moving averages here. Something to keep an eye on that I'm not a big subscriber about is, we could be developing a death cross. But when you look at this, pretty good day, 2-day reversal, could have a 2-week reversal. One of the most bullish things the market could do, we had after the crash, we had 2 inside weeks. I think I talked about this last week. So early in the week with a continued sell-off, we took out the prior 2 weeks lows. We're almost unchanged on the week. The most bullish thing Bitcoin could do, and there's still a few days left, would be to take out last week's highs over 39,000 and close up there and have some type of bullish engulfing candle. That would signal that the low is in. I think that would be a pretty good indicator if we got something like that happening in Bitcoin. If you see what I'm talking about, the 2 inside days and possibly being followed by an outside day, we do have the makings of a reversal, 2-week reversal. And someone pointed out that Bitcoin doesn't close on Friday. I think it's a Sunday close. So, I learned that today because normally everything else I trade, the closing candle is Friday, but on Bitcoin, I believe it's Sunday. And the 2-week reversal takes place at 35,669. So we're really not that far away from it. We're $700 away. Okay, so there's my look on Bitcoin and the cryptos. Getting some nice action in some of the gold stocks. Um, here's GDX. If I'm right about the metals, we should get one more high above this high here, above 45 in GDX. In Newmont, same thing. I mean, to me, this is a confirmed high. This gap, is giving it a little bit of a bearish look. But if I'm right about the dollar and I'm right about gold and silver, we should get one more liftoff in everything. S&Ps, weak dollars, strong gold, strong commodities. When the dollar's weak, everything's good. When and if the dollar turns in the next millennia, that's when you're going to start seeing risk off. So gold shares are definitely underperforming though, right? Because we were making successive new highs in gold, right? All the way up to the 1st of June. And then when you look at the high in GDX, that was made in May, late May. So underperformance of gold miners, but if we get another, $70 in gold, another $2-3 in Silver, that should give us one more high. I'd be liquidating longs because I think in the summer, we'll get pullbacks in the metals, and, you know, it's gonna be time to I think I'm getting ready for what they call a rainmaker. Anyone know what a rainmaker trade is? Alright, so here's my rainmaker, and it still has to make some upward progress. But I'm looking at this huge topping formation that's been developing since early February and maybe ending in late June. This three drive to a top formation is going to be a rainmaker, um, because I think that once we do have this top here, that there's a pretty good chance that we're going to see 10,000 again, maybe 9,700, which was the high before the COVID crash. And I think the magnitude of the move from wherever we top could be as big. I think this was 30% or so during COVID. We could have 30% from the NASDAQ at 14,000. Um, that would take it to about nine. So I think there's big trades setting up. That I've been very patient waiting for it, and I'm going to be aggressively putting it on, especially if the scenario continues to evolve into both the summer solstice and the end of the month. So enjoy risk on while it lasts, but start preparing yourself for um, taking some money off the table from your long positions and maybe read the story of uh, who was the guy who discovered Isaac Newton. So Isaac, he wasn't a great trader. He lost his fortune in tulip mania, but he got hit in the head with an apple and discovered gravity because I think there is going to be uh, an experience of gravity, especially after a lot of these parabolic moves. So I think it's going to we're going to have some different types of markets throughout the summer into the fall. So we had risk on in a big way, probably magnified by what you're seeing in meme stocks. But again, here are my, let's keep an eye on my canaries in the coal mine. And the first one, of course, is Tesla. And it's in this big descending triangle. Here's the weekly. And, we're trying to get one more rally out of here. And I would think if NASDAQ has another four or 500 points that maybe Tesla could even get up to 700, but I think it's going to have some trouble at 650. And the measured move on this is back down to 300. So they could cut Tesla in half. This is a descending triangle. And what you do is you just take the width of the formation. And then on a breakdown, you just subtract it to get possibly as low as 300, 250. So that's one of them. Amazon's trying to rally a little bit, but new highs, even if Nasdaq goes to 14.3, looks kind of unlikely to me. Maybe back to 3,400, and I think and Apple. Okay, so Apple has their big thing going. We're barely holding on to the 200 day moving average. Look at this: one, two, three. Actually closed underneath it. So with another 400 point, if I'm right about another 400-point advance in Nasdaq, I don't know, maybe we could get back to here. But this too is a canary in the coal mine. Apple hasn't made a new high since early last year, January 25th, while we've had successive new highs in Nasdaq. Let me just take a look at another one of the horsemen. Just take a look. I haven't taken a look at it in a while. This too is a you know big part of it. And I think Microsoft had a bad earnings report or good earnings, but they sold it off. Wow. Okay, so maybe into the gap here. If we make new highs or one more new high, this could be one, this could be two, and get a new high. So Microsoft has a chance for new highs. I don't think that's the case for Amazon Tesla, and maybe Apple. So before I go, everyone, any questions on anything I've covered? Let me ask you this. Are you learning from me, not just the calls, but some of my stuff I teach about RSI, the real simple implicator, about taking partial profits, about some of the correlations that I pay attention to? Because you can. I'm teaching. I'm not just making trade calls here. I'm giving you the whys behind the trade call so that you can eventually do this on your own. You don't know how many people send me messages or send me emails and say, Dale, I couldn't help but think about you when I saw this 3 drive in ABC or whatever the instrument was. And, it tells me that it's not really difficult to learn and that a lot of people are having success with it. I just want to spread it around to our community as well. And as always, don't just count your pips or count your crypto or count your shares or count your barrels of oil, count your blessings. And we'll see everyone tomorrow, tomorrow's interview day. I'm planning on having Saeed Zaman with us tomorrow at Trader S1. And have a great rest of the day, everyone. Adios.